Darnell, Picket, step away from the counter.
Who are you? I'm working right now.
This is Darnell Picket, a Burger King crew member in Garfield Heights, Ohio. He posted a photo online thinking it was a joke. It cost him his freedom.
We know about the photo, the lettuce.
That was a joke, man. Nobody was supposed to eat that.
You need to come with us right now,
I'm with you. I swear, I'm telling you, it was a joke. Come right now.
It wasn't a joke. That was the word Darnell Picket used when officers came through the counter gate at that Garfield Heights Burger King. A joke. He said it over and over while co-workers watched from the drink station and customers stood frozen at the far register. But the Cuyahoga County Board of Health didn't treat it as a joke. The prosecutor's office didn't treat it as a joke. And the 34 customers who ate there during the dinner rush on July 11th, 2024, they never got the chance to decide. Within 48 hours of posting that photo, investigators had his name, his shift schedule, his clock-in record, and a criminal referral filed with the county prosecutor. Within 30 days, he was indicted. The photo he thought would disappear into the internet became Exhibit A. Before we continue, have you ever really thought about what happens to your food before it hits the counter? Drop a comment, and if you're new here, subscribe. We don't let these stories disappear. Darnell Maurice Picket was born in 2005 in Garfield Heights, Ohio, a working-class suburb pressed up against the southeast edge of Cleveland, where the streets run flat and wide, and the houses sit close together. His mother, Denise, worked overnight shifts as a home health aide, driving a 2009 Impala to care for elderly clients across 3 different zip codes. His father left when Darnell was 7. He grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment on Turney Road with his mother and his younger sister Aaliyah, the kind of household where the electric bill was a conversation every month. Denise kept the place clean. She kept the kids fed. She made every parent-teacher conference she could manage between shifts. Darnell was not a troubled kid, cheerful and quick, according to his 7th grade homeroom teacher. He ran track in 9th grade. He had 4 close friends from middle school who stayed tight through high school, a standing pickup basketball game at the Garfield Heights Rec Center every Saturday at noon, every week for 3 years. Nothing about him pointed anywhere other than a teenager trying to figure out what came next. His first job came at 16, stocking shelves at a Dollar General on Broadway Avenue, $8.75 an hour. He worked Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. He gave half his check to his mother without being asked, spent the rest on food and sneakers. At 18, he applied to Burger King. He saw a now hiring sign in the window of the Granger Road location and walked in with 2 forms of ID. He was hired by the end of the week. His onboarding notes listed him as punctual, willing to learn, and good energy with the team. His first 60-day evaluation noted no disciplinary write-ups. Over 14 months at Granger Road, he picked up extra shifts, earned a wage increase to $12.25 an hour, and was being considered for crew trainer. It wasn't much, but it was his. In April 2024, Darnell was transferred to the Warrensville Center Road location. Larger, busier, younger crew. The franchise owner ran 7 locations across Cuyahoga County and rotated through store managers the way some people rotate through phone cases. 3 had cycled through in the previous 18 months. The current manager was 26 years old and had been in the role for 11 weeks. That absence of consistent accountability is where the story takes its turn. To understand what happened inside that walk-in prep room, you need to understand how food safety is supposed to work in a fast food kitchen. The FDA's Food Safety Modernization Act sets baseline requirements for every commercial food handler in the country. The Cuyahoga County Board of Health enforces those standards through unannounced inspections of every retail food establishment in its jurisdiction. In a Burger King franchise, shredded lettuce is a ready-to-eat product. No cooking step kills pathogens. What lands in the kitchen goes directly into the food. The lettuce arrives in commercial bags, transferred into restaurant insert pans, and sits in a designated cooler until it's called for on the line. The handling rules are not complicated. Gloves on. Don't contact the floor. Don't leave it uncovered. The food safety certification that every Burger King crew member is required to complete covers all of this explicitly. Darnell Picket completed his in April 2024. He passed. The walk-in prep area at the Warrensville Center Road location had one documented vulnerability. It was not covered by the store's internal camera system. 4 cameras covered the front counter, drive-through, parking lot, and main kitchen line. The walk-in and prep corridor sat in a blind spot. That gap had been flagged in a Board of Health inspection 18 months earlier, with a recommendation for additional monitoring. The franchisee had not acted on it. No one was watching, no one was checking, and Darnell Picket knew it. The incident happened on July 11th, 2024, at approximately 2:47 p.m. The store was between lunch and dinner prep. 4 crew members were in and around the walk-in. Darnell, a co-worker named Marcus, a 16-year-old named Jalen, who had been on the job 3 weeks, and an 18-year-old named Brianna pulling prep from the cooler. The shift manager was in the office. No supervisor was on the floor. What happened next took less than 2 minutes. Darnell climbed into the restaurant insert pans containing that day's shredded lettuce. Both feet, full weight, standard issue black non-slip kitchen shoes. Marcus took the photo on his personal phone, a Samsung Galaxy A series device, geotagging enabled. The image showed Darnell from the waist down, clearly in Burger King uniform, clearly standing inside the insert pans. In the background, a walk-in shelving unit with a Cisco label on a case of buns, a stainless wall-mounted temperature gauge. Details that meant nothing to Darnell. Details that would mean everything to investigators. Darnell climbed out. They laughed. Nobody pulled the lettuce. Nobody logged a disposal. The insert pans went back on the shelf. At 4:15 p.m., when dinner prep began, a crew member called for lettuce. The contaminated pans were pulled from the cooler and placed into service. Between 4:15 and 7:30 p.m., 34 customers ordered items containing shredded lettuce. 34 sandwiches went out the window. That night, at 11:47 p.m., Darnell posted the photo to a Discord server shared with about 60 contacts. He didn't use his real name. He figured 60 people was a small audience. He wrote in the comments 20 minutes after posting, nah, they not even gonna know. He was wrong. By 6 a.m. the following morning, the photo was no longer on Discord. One of those 60 people had screenshotted it and posted it to a Reddit food safety forum. Original image intact. Metadata unstripped. Within 4 hours, a user with a background in digital forensics posted a reply that changed everything. The reply extracted the image's EXIF data, GPS coordinates resolving to the Burger King franchise at Warrensville Center Road, Garfield Heights, Ohio. Device timestamp, July 11th, 2024, 2:47 p.m. The post included a satellite view overlay of the restaurant exterior. It took 15 seconds to cross-reference. The Cuyahoga County Board of Health received 3 complaint emails by 9 a.m., one with the EXIF analysis attached, one from a woman who had eaten there with her 2 young children the evening of July 11th. A Board of Health inspector arrived at the Warrensville Center Road location at 11:14 a.m., unannounced. The franchise owner pulled scheduling records. 2 employees had overlapping presence in the prep area during the 2:47 p.m. window, Darnell Picket and Marcus. Both identified within the hour. Both terminated that afternoon. The Board of Health inspector confirmed the contaminated lettuce had been placed into service during the dinner rush without being pulled. The following morning, the board submitted a criminal referral to the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office, citing Ohio Revised Code, Section 3715.52, the state food adulteration statute. The investigation was now criminal. Investigators didn't need to look far. The evidence was all where Darnell had left it. The original image file, obtained through a Reddit subpoena, contained intact GPS coordinates, a verified device timestamp, and a device fingerprint matched to Marcus's Samsung Galaxy through carrier records. The Cisco label in the background matched the Warrensville location's inventory log for July 11th. Marcus cooperated within 72 hours, full statement in exchange for conditional immunity. He confirmed Darnell initiated the incident, that nobody discussed pulling the lettuce, and that at 4:15 p.m. he watched the contaminated pans come out of the cooler and said nothing. The Discord logs were subpoenaed in full. The 11:47 p.m. message was there. Nah, they not even gonna know. So was a message sent 3 days later, after the Reddit post went viral, but before Darnell knew he'd been identified. Bro, I already deleted everything. It ain't coming back to me. It came back to him. The smoking gun was the EXIF data. Not dramatic, just undeniable. Longitude, latitude, timestamp, device, all embedded in the file Darnell posted himself. A signed confession with a map attached. Garfield Heights PD officers and a Cuyahoga County health investigator entered the Warrensville Center Road location through the front lobby on July 17, 2024, at 3:31 p.m. Darnell was behind the counter. He had shown up for a scheduled shift, unaware he'd been terminated 6 days earlier. Burger King polo, paper crown tucked into his back pocket, drive-through headset wire looped over one ear. He was scooping fries from the basket into a sleeve, head down, locked into the rhythm of the service window. He didn't look up until the officer came through the counter gate and called his name. The fry scoop stopped mid-motion. He looked up and saw 2 officers and the investigator fanning out across the service floor. The scoop lowered slowly to the tray rail. His free hand found the edge of the counter. Officer. Whoa! What? I'm working right now. Darnell looked up and found the officer already through the gate. Officer. Darnell Picket, step away from the counter. Darnell. Who are you? I work here. You can't just come back here. Officer. We know about the photo, Darnell. We know about the lettuce. Darnell. What photo? What are you? He looked from the officer to the investigator, back to the officer. His voice was already climbing. Darnell. I work here, man. You cannot just walk back here. Officer. You need to come with us right now, sir. Darnell. Come with you where? Both hands off the counter, gesturing at the register, at the customers standing frozen at the far end. Darnell. I'm in the middle of a shift. Somebody tell me what is happening right now. The officer moved toward him. Darnell stepped back into the counter's edge. The headset wire swung off his ear. It was a joke, he said. Faster now, louder. I didn't know anyone ate it. I didn't know it went out. It was supposed to be a joke. Turn around, hands behind your back. This is crazy. I have customers. It was a joke. I've never been in trouble a day in my life. The handcuffs came out in full view of the lobby. 2 customers at the far register watched without moving. The crew member at the drink station had gone completely still. Darnell kept talking all the way around the counter and out through the lobby door, his voice rising and falling, but never stopping. The word joke cycling through it like a refrain he believed would eventually change something. It didn't. The Cuyahoga County Grand Jury returned an indictment on August 9, 2024. 1 count of adulteration of food under Ohio Revised Code, Section 371.5.5.2, a 5th-degree felony. 1 count of criminal damaging under Section 2.909.06, a 1st-degree misdemeanor. A federal count under 18 U.S.C. Section 1365 was dismissed on jurisdictional grounds prior to trial. Defense filed a motion to suppress the EXIF data. Denied. Sought a plea agreement. Guilty on the misdemeanor with the felony dismissed. The prosecution declined. Trial began November 4th, 2024, Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas, before Judge Lorraine Whitfield. 2 days. 4 prosecution witnesses. The Board of Health Inspector, the digital forensics analyst who authenticated the EXIF data, Marcus under his immunity agreement, and a Burger King corporate food safety representative confirming Darnell's April certification. The defense called 1 witness, Darnell, 37 minutes. He said he hadn't intended for the lettuce to be served. He assumed a manager would catch it. He said he was sorry. On cross-examination, the prosecution introduced the 11:47 p.m. Discord message. They asked what he meant by it. He paused a long time before answering. The court heard 3 victim impact statements before sentencing. 2 from customers who described weeks of anxiety about their food after the coverage broke. The third was from a woman named Patricia Horn, who had eaten at that Burger King on the evening of July 11th, with her 9-year-old son and 6-year-old daughter. She read her statement standing and did not look at Darnell. She said her children asked every day for 2 weeks whether their food was safe. Her daughter stopped eating hamburgers. She said she understood Darnell was young, and she was not there to destroy him. But someone needed to understand that what he called a joke had reached her family's dinner table. Judge Whitfield sentenced Darnell Picket on November 22, 2024. She addressed him directly before reading the sentence. She said the case was not complicated, and that was what made it serious. He had been trained, he had been certified, he had been given responsibility over food that other people would eat, and he had violated that responsibility deliberately, photographed it, broadcast it, and done nothing as the contaminated product moved toward customers. The word joke had appeared in his testimony 4 times. The law, she said, does not recognize intent to entertain as a defense to adulteration. 18 months supervised probation, 200 hours of community service at the Greater Cleveland Food Bank, $4,200 in restitution to the franchise owner, and as a condition of probation, a permanent bar from food service employment in the state of Ohio. He was 20 years old at sentencing. The franchise received a formal corrective action plan. The owner was fined $3,500 and required to install cameras in the walk-in prep corridor within 60 days. The same recommendation made 18 months earlier and ignored. The cameras went in on January 8, 2025, 18 months late. 1 criminal case too many. Darnell left that courtroom on probation. His food service career was over before it had started. His mother sat in the gallery. She waited in the hallway outside courtroom 14, walked him to the elevator, and out of the building without a word. The photo is still on the internet. It always will be. Because when you hand the internet a joke, it keeps the receipt forever. Stories like this one don't get the coverage they deserve. If you want to see more accountability content, subscribe and hit the notification bell. We cover cases like this every week. That case was hard to sit with, but the one right here on your screen, it's on another level entirely.